Here we are with Persona Summer Away Camp, episode introduction. We're in December 2018, and I am Devin, the referee, and to my left we have X playing Y. Kevin is not here today because we recorded at a time he was working.
I'm Nicole. My character is named Amelia Abdi. She goes by Millie. Her arcana is the Lovers, and
That's it.
Okay.
I'm Tyler. I'm playing Ricardo Martinez, and his arcana is the Chariot.
Peter as Brody Brostar, and his arcana is the Sun.
Mark is Aaron Quast, and
I'm playing the devil!
Devil. Alright, gang, so we're here to play Persona. Oh, and also Kevin, we didn't write down what his character's name was. Good job, guys.
It's Maria.
Maria. Kevin is playing Maria, whose arcana is the Moon. Moon.
Mocking me.
Moon. Yeah. Alright. So, let's start to deconstruct what this is all about. And then not reconstruct it because we're a post-2000s TV series that doesn't know how to do genre deconstruction. Alright, so we're playing Persona, specifically The Velvet Book. The Velvet Book is a fan project made by a group of people who are taking Monsters and Other Childish Things, which was a spin-off of Wild Talents by Arc Dream Publishing, and are using it to make a Persona RPG. It is a D10 system. I don't know if they have a central webpage or anything or a contact area, so I'll hash that out before this goes up.
Put it in the description.
Yeah, link in the description below. Like, share, subscribe to it. But it's called The Velvet Book. That's the key word to Plenty of Fish It, or Babel. Alta Vista, ask Jeeves.
Are you drunk?
Go to the yellow pages.
Well. So, what is Persona? Persona is a JRPG series that's a spin-off of the Shin Megami 10 series, which doesn't get imported to America or North America a super lot, but Persona did, and it's kind of what kicked off people wanting the rest of them. In it, you are usually teenagers who are in the modernish world, and there are supernatural shit going on, and you're able to summon up a sort of manifestation of your inner ego / collective unconsciousness that allows you to fight other monsters that are representations of the collective unconsciousness and mythology and stories wrapped up in a bunch of bullshit by Carl Jung. For reference, Carl Jung is a guy who you'll know who's like Freud. They knew each other. I think they were bros for a bit before Freud totally kicked it. And Carl Jung wrote a lot about dreams and symbolism and how it influences us and the collective unconsciousness and all that stuff. There's a book called Man and His Symbols. I don't know, read that. But the idea is that all these ideas and reoccurring themes we have kind of comes from a same place in humanity, a sort of like group shared story. Not like the monomyth, like cooler than that. And Persona kind of riffs on that a lot and uses none of it in the right way because it's a JRPG. Why would it? It's going to make it interesting. So, the most famous Persona game is Persona 4, not 3 or 5. 4 is the one that came out and it was the most accessible. It came out at the end of the PS2 era where everyone had a PS2 and was one of the last games released for the PS2, actually. It was a bright, happy game that was a murder mystery, that its main color palette was like bright yellow and black, like a bumblebee. And it was you doing, you do high school stuff during the day, you do dating sim stuff kind of in between, and then you go do dungeon delving in the afternoon and solve supernatural murder mysteries. And there's also a collect 'em all aspect where the different shadow monsters, you could beat them and like summon them up and then like combine them to make new ones. It's this whole fun, interesting thing that kind of just caught on. So that's a very brief introduction to Persona.
you should play it sometime. They're really good.
You got anything you want to add, Mark?
Yeah.
You know
I've been sort of like aware of the game since like the very first PS1 import when it came over in the 90s, and I didn't really get into it myself, having until 3 though, and 5 is fantastic. I've actually seen a couple different attempts to port it into an RPG, and the ones I've seen have all gone disastrously wrong.
Yeah, you really got to pick what you emulate when you try to do something like that.
Yeah,
Unlike certain Pokemon conversions, where it's basically a spreadsheet game and each character is 5 tabs in an Excel sheet long. You gotta pick and choose.
Yeah, it's a real key aspect of the game too is getting the whole social link going, because that's one of Persona's really big ones, is that they create these NPCs based on the major arcana, and if you build your relationship with them, then you get all sorts. Not only are all the persona you find of that arcana are more powerful, but also you get some really crazy special abilities that you basically need if you're going to finish the game on any kind of difficulty.
Yeah. So again, very heavy into like the basically the dating sim aspect of it, where you're hanging out with people, crewing up relationships, getting the events going on, and that strengthens. It translates over to physical benefits in the dungeon crawling aspect. It's a fun little thing. You have to balance basically 3 different things, because there's a stat raising element to it too, and all this. Was Persona 1 or 2 the one where you fight Hitler at the end?
I think that was one.
So good.
I don't know as much about the first couple of games.
I love it. It's just amazing. So, let's go from Persona then to Monsters and Other Childish Things. This is going to be a lot briefer. Monsters and Other Childish Things is a game where you're a kid with a monster. The most fun, interesting part about it is that the monster, you build it yourself by basically doing a sketch of it in your mind or on paper, and you assign the different body parts it has to a hit location. Oh, you can't see me air quoting, listeners. To a hit location.
You still did it anyways.
Not do it. So if you built a crocodile, you'd be like, his head, which is full of bitey teeth. That's one hit location. His various arms, which let him scuttle. That's another hit location. His big, meaty body that's full of armor. That's another one. His tail that lets him pick locks. That's another. And then you assign dice to it, and then you spend the dice to either just have a dice pool for it, or also effectively on top of the dice pool. It's really fun. It's really great. A lot of the Monster and Other Childish system is from like 2002 and almost unusable by today's standards. It has a lot of errata you need to go through, but the core of it is really neat. So in the Velvet Book version, you have your character, who is your teenager or your kid or your adult, however you want to play it, and they have their persona, and you get to build your persona the same way. Like, if you wanted to do Izanagi, you'd some people built him with the helmet he has that lets him control lightning, or his cool blazer, which makes him be kind of awesome and have tools on him, pickpocketing tools, or that lightning switchblade he has, which lets him do attacks and stuff, or his little skate feet, which lets him move and jump around. You can build the persona based on the image in your head and assign it different things, and there's a lot of customization and strategy potential involved. And that's where the Monsters Other Childish Thing aspect really shines. It's also a D10 system. You roll a pool of dice from 1d10 to 10d10, and the way the dice show up is done in one roll. So if you roll that pool, you're looking for matches, and your matches determine various things, like how many matches you get. If you got 3 threes, determines how quickly it happens, and the value of the match is determined how effective it is. So 3 threes is fast, but 2 10s isn't quite as fast, but it's stronger because they're 10s. That's the basics of it. We're going to get into a lot of this in the outro episode, which is there's a bunch of episodes between this one and that you're going to listen to first. So that's Monsters, that's Persona, this game specifically. We want to do we have a bigger, longer Persona campaign planned out, one that takes place on a cruise ship high school for rich kids and is insane. But we wanted to beta test this system first, and we know the developers, we talk with them and stuff, and this was an opportunity to kind of see what it's like with people who are totally fresh to the game, how it plays. It's a little rough, and that's mostly because you have to reference a book from 2002 and a brand new module they're making. The interface between the two is a little rough.
And an expansion.
And one of the expansions, yeah.
And they're quite big books.
Yeah, the Velvet Book itself is 100 pages. It's not a small conversion. You basically could strip the monster system out of Monsters and put it into the Velvet Book and make it more unified, and it would run a lot quicker. Which is, I think, what they're doing.
I was gonna say, are they actually doing that right now?
Yeah, that was one of the feedback we gave them, and they thought that was a good fix to put in. So we ran this short game just to test the waters and see what we liked about it. This game is, you are high school students at a rich high school somewhere in North America. Don't ask too many questions. You guys are part of a club, and your club, to be allowed to continue to exist, you have all signed up voluntarily to go to this town in the mountains, this little vacation town, where there's a burned down summer camp that burned down 10 years ago, and you're going to spend your summer helping fix it up. And that's going to teach you stuff about shop, woodworking, metalworking, responsibility, budget balancing, cooking, survival stuff, community spirit. It's also a charity thing. So you and a bunch of other kids from different clubs who are like clubs went here to kind of do that for the summer. And this little town is full of supernatural gribblies and weirdos and stuff.
Gribblies.
Yeah. So the Velvet Book recommends that you make an NPC social link for every major arcana. So I went and did that. I made like 22, 25, however major arcana there are, NPCs that were like the social links for this game. And then whatever the PCs picked for their major arcana, I subtracted that NPC out of the pool. So this is a mountain town. It has like alien lights. The fire 10 years ago was mysterious. There's people there that are weird. It has its own weird internet from the 1970s that predates the DARPAnet. You know, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in it that's ripe to explore. We only explore a fraction of it because, you know, we're trying to get this game going. But that's the premise of Summer Away Camp.
It's not. I think that's its name.
If I say it enough, it does become its name.
I mean.
So, with my part of it out of the way, I'm going to go around and you all can give an introduction to your characters and their persona and what they're like. And Kevin is in this game, listeners, but he wasn't here for the intro or the outro just because he has work. But he's here.
My character, Millie, she is... Alright, I'll go with the physical description first. She has buck teeth with a bit of a gap between them. She smiles a lot. She has wavy hair that's cut short and is pastel green. She has a bunch of the original camp t-shirts from this camp because she actually used to live here before she had to move away and live with her uncle. And, oh yeah, she has a couple piercings, including a third eye piercing. The club we're in is the Supernatural, the fortune-telling club, by the way, listeners, so, yeah. Personality-wise, she's artistic and passionate and quite obsessive. She kind of wants to be friends with everybody, and she has an opinion of who would make her the absolute best friend. They would be absolutely best friends. And the other person doesn't really know it. Her persona is Medea from Greek mythology?
Yeah.
Greek mythology.
So that's where she'd come from.
Yeah, she's a floating, statuesque woman in flowing like sorceress robes that tend to ripple even when it's not windy. She has dark tan skin, flowing hair, and her eyes glow. She has a bunch of jewelry with like runes and sacred herbs and stuff inscribed on it all over it. And yeah. Arcana of the Lovers. I don't have anything else to say, I don't think.
Your persona?
Medea, I just said
Okay, my character is Ricardo. He's small and wiry with a wrestler's frame and a dark complexion. He dresses immaculately and exclusively in black, and he's rarely seen without a deck of cards that he compulsively shuffles because he is an amateur magician, which he takes very seriously. And he also takes the fortune-telling club very seriously. He takes a lot of things really seriously. He's a very intense person. And he's also kind of a dick. Often. To other people.
Ricardo? No.
Ricardo.
No, he's not a dick.
His persona is the Jack of Hearts, which is a physical manifestation of one of his cards. It's an exaggerated personification of the card, appears as a large regal man in courtly vestments, wields a halberd in one hand and a long quill in the other. And his persona is built to be kind of a jack of all trades. It can do combat, defense, heal a bit, and it has some useful abilities. Yeah, and that's me.
Okay, I'm actually going to circle back and describe some of what my persona can do then. I didn't think to do that. Yeah, Medea is mostly completely not a combat character. She's more of a buffer type. She buffs the other characters and stuff like that. And also is a healer. She also is able to turn invisible, can always tell when people are lying, and can fly. And also has an ability to turn things into pigs. Any size thing can turn into a real full-size pig.
Yeah. Just pigs, like just a pig.
Laws of conservation of mass out the window.
It's magic.
Infinite bacon.
And yeah, that's what she does. She does technically have an attack, but she only uses that if it's absolutely everyone else is dead, because when you're invisible, if you don't attack, people can't attack you.
Unless someone has something else to find, they're like, oh,
Yes, there are powers that can
I
let
smell you.
There
You're
are-
not insentible.
Well, if you basically have to have a power to sense the invisible, which you can have. Oh, she's also very tough. Even if people attack her, she's a tough nut to crack.
If hit in the right direction, I guess. If hit in the right place, I guess.
She has
Or
tough
not.
×3 on all of her body parts.
Ah.
She is tough.
I mean, you say tough, but...
Okay, she's no freaking moondog. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, so my character is Brody Star, or just Bro. He's the Sun Arcana. He's a jock type, son of an Olympic gold medalist, Orion Star. He's fit, tanned, and so on. There's not really much to him. He's a meathead jock person. That's just simple. He's just focused. Bro, he's very much a bro, man. Into surfing and all the other sports. And his persona is the Moondog, or Moon, or whatever you want to call it. Moonbra. Is a giant wolf, like Moro from Princess Mononoke, mixed with some Moon, or something like that. And I built Moondog to be, very focused on combat, so it's really got gnarly times whatever. It's got very tough hide and so on, so... It's a combat character, and as it turned out, it was pretty effective.
Especially when all the other characters are piling on buffs.
We don't know that yet, Peter. It's the intro.
Oh, it's fine.
I with foresight, man.
So I'm going to point out two things. One, Maru from Princess Mononoke, the wolf, was voiced by Scully.
Which is awesome.
Cool.
We were talking about X-Files earlier.
Yeah.
And two, listeners, Peter presented this character to me, this Broderick Star.
Yeah.
Middle name Bro. And I screamed at him, is that a fucking JoJo reference? Because his name is Broderick Brostar. Like, Bro. His name is Brostar. Like, he's a JoJo reference. He's a big, ripped, athletic dude who looks like he's 40, like the JoJo stuff is drawn, even though he's 16. He has a fucking wolf that doesn't look anything like a real wolf. He has like a famous family. There's so many things going on. Peter built a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure character. And he's like, I've never read it.
You thought you were safe from JoJo references, but it was
me,
Peter!
Yeah, totally accident.
By accident, he built an identical JoJo character.
Because I was building our teams that wanted for the longer game, like, being overshadowed by your family and, so on and so on. And,
He built a shonen anime protagonist who was... It's amazing. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Brody and Moonbra.
Okay, so I'm playing Aaron Quast. My Arcana is the Devil! And I sort of initially made him as wanted to make him as a con artist, but I don't sort of really... That didn't really materialize just by virtue of the fact that we already had a dedicated social character, so I kind of turned him more into a smart aleck asshole. Yeah, the persona is Mephistopheles, who's basically described, imagine an old-timey devil, walks around as like a skinny guy with a monocle and a black traveling bag with a snake oil in one hand and a fiddle to challenge people to fiddle contests for their soul in the other. So kind of an old westy concept of the...
Devil went down to Georgia type.
Yeah. And he's got the ability to dodge pretty much anything. He was very, very good at that. He had... when he played the violin, he could use the ability Liaison, which charms shadows. And he had a black bag, the ability he primarily used, which was this huge area attack buff, as he gave people, like, I don't know, something mixed with a crap load of codeine and laudanum and cocaine. And he gave people the evil eye, but I don't think I ever used that power once.
So I guess that's us.
Yep, that is the characters.
Should we talk about Kevin's character by proxy?
Yeah, Kevin's playing Maria. His persona is Bloody Mary.
Yes, Maria is buff, and she has dark skin, like she's black, and she has short hair dyed purple. I don't know anything else about her other than
She has a gun.
She has a gun.
Walk around with a gun.
Let's talk about the gun.
Yes, Maria has a gun.
She has an actual live, like, I'm an American and I'm going to kill you gun.
Also, her persona, which is meant to represent a base part of your personality, is Bloody Mary. So, take from that what you will.
She described herself as a bully, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and Bloody Mary is scary. It's like a woman crawling out of a floating mirror, and her hair's all covering her face and stuff, and like the mirror's held up by angel wings. Her persona is scary. And yeah, that's her. Her character is also a combat character.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, that is the cast. That's the premise. I don't know. Going in, the sessions are kind of all over the place. Like for the most part, they're mostly role play. We try to use the system. I think the first fight we got into, we got mad. So that's coming, listeners. We're gonna sound frustrated and angry. It's all fine. It's all good. We're not getting a divorce. It's fine. But I think I could tell from my own voice. I was upset as we were trying to navigate a lot of hitches in the monster side of it, but the monster another childish thing side of it.
Don't worry, guys. We're codependent. We cannot leave.
We can never leave.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why is Brody in the fortune-telling club?
Why wouldn't he be?
Because you got the persona. So, hey, it's weird and supernatural.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the pretense for the game was you guys were supernatural and know about magic and shit in your high school. You had a previous off-camera adventure in high school where you all came together and became the fortune-telling club.
I know, but I think that Maria might have joined the club before she had the persona. Like, I wasn't sure when people came into the club kind of thing, so I was just wondering, because Brody, if he didn't have a persona, definitely does not seem like the type that would be in this club.
Well, he would have had it in the school and then he would have joined the club
Exactly.
once they knew what was going on.
Exactly.
Besides, Brody has layers.
I'm like an onion, man.
He fucking mastered the Harmon martial arts. Sun power.
Alright.
Fucking
All
Lord.
right.
The ripple. You fucking piece of shit. You fucking Broderick Brostar. God damn you.
I broke Devin.
He was like, oh, I'm gonna play a Brosef Brostar or whatever. It's like, or Brody Brostar. It's like Brody is short for Broderick. Broderick Brostar. You motherfucker. Motherfucker. Anything else to talk about for Persona? Anything to discuss beforehand? For an intro?
I think that's the
There's a real world and there's a shadow world.
Yeah, shit, right. That's like a whole entire thing. Yeah. So you spend your day in the real world, and then at night you cross over to the midnight, where it's like the collective unconscious of mankind, Carl Jungian psychology, the repressed desires and ego and shadow of man stuff. So like things from mythology are real because we've assigned them like psychic value and psychic like life, basically. So like myths about like the Titans or Hercules or gods and demons and angels, they're all real because we put so much energy into them as a people, as a society. And we live in a society, and that's kind of what Persona's saying. That we live in a society. It's doing that JRPG thing of being incredibly deep. And saying things that most games aren't saying at the time.
Man.
Oh, also, if anyone is a really big fan of chess, I guess, warning ahead, we are needlessly shitty to the game sport of chess.
And
so
by
don't take it,
he means Devin.
So don't take it personally. I'm sure chess is a very wonderful game that I love, but I do not pull punches in that episode. So, be good for goodness sake.
It's a very deep game, man.
There's a lot of skill involved in it.
Yep.
Just like that Gary Kasparov guy. He was a stable person. Anyway, gonna wrap that up. So, I was Devin.
Nicole?
Tyler?
Peter?
Mark?
And this is sponsored by Nobody. Signing off.